皆さん、こんにちは。今日は素敵なドライブがしたい気分ですか？風を髪に受けながら景色を楽しんだり。ここではその代わりに私たちがあなたを高速のアクションにお連れする準備万端です。マッハ555の話題でね。さあ、エンジンをかけて。この番組はポーズオンアニメーション。
Here comes Speed Racer, he's a demon on wheels. He's a demon and he's gonna be chasing after someone.
Hello everyone, Mask Entertainment's here.
And Mama Entertainments, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're going way back with a show from Japan. It's become a pop culture icon, Speed Racer.
This iconic show from the 1960s stars the titular character Speed Racer, big word, as he has adventures all around the world and competing in strange and dangerous races with his girlfriend Trixie, his little brother Spritle, and his monkey, ape, chimp, whatever, Chim Chim.
Right? And I think the funny part is you find out later his name really is Speed Racer. I thought that was just the name of the show.
So did I.
His name is Speed. His last name's Racer. And his dad's name's Pop. Last name Racer. Mom Racer. I'm like, what the heck? And the kids, Spritle, okay, who's naming? Okay, this family's not good at naming. He even had a shirt that said, why are our parents so bad at naming us?
This show, of course, is loved by generations and generations and generations. Most of us listening to this podcast weren't even born when it came on,
right?
But we're loving it. We're absolutely loving it. I got to love it before you, and I'm so glad that I got to share it with you. So let's tell them a little more about Speed Racer and the gift that Japan has given us that keeps on giving.
From what I remember, when they had the first episode, their company was in money trouble, and it was supposed to be a garage. I think it was to have a family garage, and it was supposed to be for racers that needed their cars fixed, and not many people were coming. For some reason, people weren't crashing, so they couldn't get them fixed. And I guess Speed was supposed to compete in these races to, help win the money to help finance the garage. And Dad was like, no, you can't do that. You're too young for this. Or Timmy Turner said, you do this because you're a kid and because you're not an adult. Ooh, ow, oh.
But they also didn't want him competing because of his older brother.
Yeah, who apparently, they say disappeared, but then you see, died in a car crash. But when he gets out there in the race, he has to compete with Racer X, a mysterious masked racer who good and darn well is his brother.
Well, at first you didn't. I mean, when you were a kid and you were watching this, you didn't realize Racer X was Racer X until maybe after a couple episodes.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It took a couple episodes, then you were like...
When they say mysteriously disappeared, it always means, okay, they're pretending to be someone else. And the mask and stuff, and he knows Speed and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, it's your brother. And even the narrator said, like we told you 20 times, it's his brother.
And for the wonderful parody of this show, watch Dexter's Laboratory episode
Mach 5, where the entire episode is played out like Speed Racer, and they are the Speed Racer characters, but not specifically, but they act like they're that family. Right. And Dee Dee's Racer X,
and they keep saying he's disappeared. I'm right here.
Did you hear something?
But this, I don't know what they were expecting when they originally put this out, but I guarantee you they were not expecting all of these decades later that we're still loving and watching this show.
Right.
This show has become so iconic that in order to purchase the series, you got to spend some big cash.
Yeah. And I have seen nearly $200 for the complete series. It's like, how many episodes did you have?
Mm-hmm.
And it also got a second series. It was called Speed X or something. It came out in the 90s. They tried to revamp it and make it more action-packed. But we couldn't watch it because we started seeing lots of flashing lights in the beginning. So we don't know how it is because we stayed away from that type of stuff in a show.
So let's talk about the characters. Let's talk about first Speed. And Speed is the Japanese Freddy from Scooby-Doo. Or Freddy was conceptualized based on Speed Racer because Scooby-Doo came later.
Right.
He's got his little blue shirt and his little ascot and his little white pants. And at first I didn't put the connection together that Freddy was like Speed Racer until right now we're talking. Right. Yeah, Freddy is Speed Racer. He's a version of Speed Racer. Instead of his pants being white, his pants are blue, and instead of his shirt being blue, his shirt is white, and he's got his little red ascot. Freddy is Speed Racer.
The American Speed Racer. Oh my gosh! And
he has this optimistic attitude. He gets frustrated, but he always has this optimistic attitude and this bright outlook that he's going to win and everything's going to be okay.
Right. And every time in these races, there's always someone trying to mess with him every time. And then you see car crash and people flying off the cliffs. It's like, are these people okay? No one's checking on these people. These men are trapped under cars, and you let these cars blow up. You're not going out.
Really, back in the 60s, people didn't die in cartoons.
Right. It's like, oh, where are those people? Next thing you know, Speed's the only one left. It's like, oh, where are the other racers? I think this is suspicious. Call those security. And he will go all around the world and there's all these different challenges, different races, and it was always a variety of villains and schemes they would come up with. It's like, what? And the races were really, really fun, and you always knew Speed was going to win. There were very rare times he didn't win.
And then his little brother Spritle and Chim Chim always hiding in the trunk. You would think after maybe the second or third time the Speed would know to open the freaking trunk and see if this monkey and his brother were in it. But no, he was always, where did you come from? Dude, how many times have they hidden in your trunk?
He's like, big baby says, okay, I'm gonna wait a second. Get out of the car! Maybe just golden finally show you, get out of my car, you're not doing this again. Oh, and every time they always had to help him, because somehow it would be a perfect opportunity for them to help when he was in trouble.
Right.
Because the car would have these little buttons that would do these different features.
Like a James Bond vehicle.
Right. Yeah. And then the Fairly Odd Parents one, he would have to put in a quarter and do the thing. You have to pay the car to race. But for here, you press a button, it would be for different uses or different obstacles. And Trixie was right. She was some help sometimes, but I know she was there to cheer him on, give him encouragement. And some of the dialogue they both had was hilarious.
And you know what was strange? One day when we were watching, we actually found the last episodes of the series at a half-price bookstore for $1, and we jumped on it. And we kept looking every time for months and months and never found another one. But we were fortunate enough to get that, and I'm grateful, because that's how Rascal was introduced to Speed Racer.
Right.
Okay, we were watching this disc, and all of a sudden it dawned on me, it's like, you let these two teenage kids go alone to this race in another country, and they stay together in a hotel. What the fish?
Yeah, but I guess back then it was innocent. Like, wait a second. Oh, it'd be like Mr. Diaz. Oh, what's so wrong about two teenagers sharing a home, one boy, one girl? Oh no. It's like, you better be lucky it's not now. Be like, okay, call somebody.
And it dawned on me, yeah, so back when this was made, it was no big deal. And when you were watching it in little, like when I didn't pay attention to it when I saw it later on. And I didn't even think about it again until I was watching with you. And it dawned on me, as an adult, wait a minute.
Right. Why are they by themselves?
Right.
And back then, back then it was pretty safe. You only had to do one villain an episode. Nowadays, it's like, danger lurks behind you, stranger, out to find you 24/7.
Right.
Run for your life. Now 24/7 danger. But then there was like barely any problems with them. And then there were times they had some funny dialogue. Like, there was this princess that looked similar to Trixie in design. And she said, oh, Speed, do you think the princess looks like me? And she said, oh, You think you could confuse her from me? Oh, no, I would never do that. She's much too pretty and elegant, and she kicked him in the shin. He said, oh, what was that for? She was mad with him the rest of the episode.
So he was great at racing, but clueless about women.
Oh, she's much too pretty and elegant. She was like, oh, and she kicked him in the shin like, what did I do?
Now, we also had his mom and his dad, as you said, Pop and Mom.
Right.
And Pop was the mechanic and the one who came up with all these different features that the vehicle had and so forth.
And then he
was pretty smart
Right.
for just a normal guy who had a garage. My God,
Right, like, all
come
these
fix my car. Come pimp my ride.
Right, like, oh, you're pretty advanced. You should be somewhere else. And they had Sparky who would install everything on the car or gave it a tune-up when it was time for the break in the race.
And then you also had, as we had mentioned earlier, Racer X, who you weren't supposed to know was his brother, but Racer X was supposed to be this really cool driver that was his biggest competition. So his biggest competition on the circuit was his own brother.
Yeah.
Not the other drivers, his brother.
Right. And what was funny is that Speed never caught on. He said, why is he look? It's like I've met him before. He's so familiar. If that much familiarity is coming to you, someone should tell you, wait a brother! I might as well say that.
If he couldn't figure out that his brother and the chimp was going to be in the trunk every time, then he sure couldn't figure out that his older brother was Racer X.
Right.
Again, great racer, no common sense.
Right. And the legacy of the show is still going on today. The voice actor, before he passed on, was in a lot of Speed Racer projects they did way after the show. They would have
Peter. He was Latino.
Yeah.
Which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And he was voiced by Peter Fernandez.
Yes, and he comes up in a lot of Speed Racer projects they had years before he passed. They had a Lego Speed Racer in honor of a live-action movie they adapted from them, made by the people who made The Matrix. They made a live-action movie, and he appeared quickly as an announcer. He was in the Speed X 90s show as a character. He was even in the Next Generation sequel where he voiced Spritle as an adult. So they always had him do a voice or appear in a
reboot sequel.
I guess, yeah. It was something, I guess.
And that was actually fun, and we'll tell you about that in another podcast.
Right. And it was always fun hearing me like, wait a minute, Ma. And you didn't know Mama didn't know what he looked like. And finally we watched the movie like, Ma, there he is. That's the original Speed Racer. And he was mocking this Speed Racer, the new one. So it was hilarious. Like, oh, he'll never be as good as me. Like, it's like with Adam West and Batman. I never need this and that. Who's the sexy man, the spandex? Yeah, he was always mocking the new Speed Racer. That was hilarious.
Yes.
And, it was just a legacy, and people still reference it. They still have shout-outs and stuff, and people, you say Speed Racer, they still know what it is, even if you don't see a lot of stuff.
And even the intro itself is iconic. How it starts off with the sound, the music, the ending where he puts his hand up and he has the pose at the end. The whole thing is iconic. And I know that they didn't expect this to be going on for decades later, but it is. And when it comes on and you're lucky enough to find it, which hasn't been recently, but if it comes on, I know we would jump right in front of that television like we'd never seen it before, and excited, ready to enjoy the fun that is Speed Racer.
And the one thing I wish for them to have, make a reboot, but let Studio Mirror do the reboot.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Because they said at one point Speed Racer's getting a reboot, but there's been nothing since that announcement. Since they did since they did Voltron very well, and they did Troll Hunters very well, they did all these different concepts and stuff, I think they would really just be excellent at a Speed Racer reboot, because we know it was really fun.
And Josh Keaton has to voice Speed Racer.
That would be a good choice.
I said it right here now. Josh Keaton has to voice Speed Racer if you decide to do a reboot.
Right. And that would be a great thing, because you can see how Voltron influenced you, new same concept and stuff, but it's a whole different feel. So,
or Steven Yeun.
Or
even better. Oh, okay,
and
I'm sorry.
And then for Speed Racer, it was fun. Still, it was family friendly, and it will still have a little action and stuff.
And we know that for now, for the current time, they're going to put a little more drama. There'll probably even be a little violence that wasn't in the original. And there'll be people that you probably have to actually acknowledge they're dead.
Right,
like the
or
original
blow up,
series.
or pull them out of the car, some like emergency shoot. Because sometimes you would see them come out of the car in a parachute, but sometimes it's like, are they okay?
It was like watching the A-Team. In that show, everyone got blown up and things happened, and then the police would take them away, and no one would be hurt, no one would have any damage or scratches or anything. They'd just be taken away. It was good fun.
Right. So yeah, I think Studio Mir would do an excellent job at doing a Speed Racer reboot, and then of course with the technology now he would have to update the car even more, and with just simple things like for the water, for the air, he probably have all these gadgets and stuff, or even better, have it where even though the car is considered dated, he can still pull off all these moves in the high-tech world.
No, it wouldn't be considered dated because the design is a classic design. Dated, the way it looks, the body style, and the way it was souped up in the cartoon. Right. It's not outdated.
Right.
Oh, no.
Well, you know what they always say in the cartoon? Oh, look, that hunk of junk, and you see this, it's got all these gadgets.
They wouldn't say that about the Mach 5.
And what would they say
and
about
I mean,
the car?
think about this. I don't think Speed Racer or the vehicle will ever be outdated.
Okay.
That's just my opinion.
Now that would be fun because you see in these other shows when they have a car and then they bring it back, it's considered low key compared to these self-driving computer cars.
But you have to remember when that cartoon was made in the 60s and you're looking at it, it was high tech.
Right.
And and again, remember, this is Japan. Japan is always leading. Has been a leader in technology for decades. Right. They really thought that out when they created that vehicle for that animation. And again, you can watch it now and you're still like, wow. You're not looking at it like, oh, the cars do that now. Cars still don't come out on stilts and jump. Cars still don't do some of the things. Now, they have nitro in some things, but there are still things that this car did in the cartoon that cars don't do now.
Right. So yes, I would love to see a Speed Racer reboot. These are one of the few shows that can and should have a reboot, and they could really do so much more with modern day stories and the type of races they could have and the storylines. They could just have so much going on one time, just like they did for Voltron. So I would love to see a Speed Racer reboot by Studio Mir. So if you're listening, do it.
I have to say. And Yuli, thank you so much for that awesome intro you gave us. Yuli is our friend from Japan, and we love her. Thank you, Yuli.
Yes. So, next time we'll be doing...
In the future, this summer, we will also have a podcast on Speed Racer the movie, which we loved, and the Speed Racer the Next Generation, which, as Rascal said, was a spinoff, reboot, sequel series to the original Speed Racer. So thanks for listening.
And our next podcast will be on Gravity Falls.
Yes.
I'm Rascal Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.
Adventures waiting just ahead. Go Speed Racer, go Speed Racer, go Speed Racer, go!
It's on you, man, it's on you. Met her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket. Give it to you later on in the form of